You know what? We don't really talk enough about the band that had built rock scene in India. And honestly, that feels a little unfair because if you have grown up in India loving rock or metal, Parikrama wasn't just a band. They were the movement. I still remember watching them live in Delhi. I think it was at Great Indian Rock, if I'm not wrong. And if you have ever seen Parikrama live, you know exactly what I mean. Before they even played a note, there was already this electricity in the crowd. Like everybody knew something special was about to happen. Parikrama started in Delhi in 1991 at the time when rock music in India barely had a place to exist. There were no labels, there was no streaming, there were no industry backings. It was just a bunch of insanely talented musicians trying to carry Indian rock with pure passion. And then came the moment that honestly still feels a bit unreal. In 2007, Parikrama opened for Iron Maiden in Bangalore. That was their first tour in India. Now, normally, that alone would have been legendary. But this is where the story gets a bit crazy. Iron Maiden's manager wrote Small World. He was apparently so blown away by Parikrama and by the energy of the Indian rock fans that he personally pushed to them to get onto the Download Festival. Think about that for a second. An Indian rock band playing one of the biggest rock festivals in the world at the time when most people didn't even believe Indian bands belonged on the global stage. But for fans like us, that felt personal and it felt massive. Like Indian rock had finally looked at the world in the eye and said, yeah, we belong here. But for me, Parikrama will always be But in Red. That song just does something to you. That emotion, those guitars, that haunting feeling. It genuinely made you realize that Indian bands could create music that hit every bit as hard emotionally as the bands we worshipped growing up. And then there's Tears of the Wizard. Such an underrated masterpiece. The kind of song you randomly revisit years later and suddenly remember exactly why you fell in love with rock music in the first place. And I'd be lying if I didn't mention Sonam Sherpa because that guitar tone, that feeling, so much of Parikrama's soul lived through him. His passing away in 2020 genuinely felt like the end of an era for Indian rock fans. But somehow the music still feels alive. And maybe that's the thing about bands like Parikrama. They don't just make songs, they make memories. Tell me your favorite Parikrama song in the comment section. And honestly, Indian rock wouldn't have been where it is without them.